This session will target 12 problems commonly found in the development industry. Problem number 1. A disconnect between surveyors and engineers, as well as land planners and architects. The engineer wishes to have a simple, straightforward design that maximizes density, but may not always be exciting. The planner or architect, however, wishes to create elegant, attractive layouts, but will often ignore physical engineering limitations and land surveying and civil engineering precision. The initial design is what the developer will use for his final projections, leading the developer to the cost analysis that is not always reflective of the final design. Problem number 2. A common problem relating to the previous one is the designs laid out by the land planner or architect will usually be altered substantially by the engineer upon review. This is often done without oversight and a concerted effort to bridge the gap between these professions. Therefore, profitability suffers along with professional relationships. Problem number 3. The civil engineer acting as the land planner is unlikely to pay attention to the architectural elevations or floor plans to showcase the homes or maximize livability. Instead, they concentrate on the numeric values to make sure the project meets the minimum standards. The resulting subdivision will look and feel the same for all of their clients, unless the developer is interactive in the design process. Problem number 4. Many assume the city's GIS is having accurate site data, including architects, land planners, and even many civil engineers. Because of this, the data is often used without verifying the information. For instance, GIS data was used for the site plan in Texas. The boundary data conflicts with aerial topography by over 400 feet and more than 10 acres. This Minnesota site was 20 feet off and had to be completely redesigned when the actual boundary was discovered. It is highly unusual when we see accurate data from a city GIS system. Problem number 5. LiDAR is a technology that automates topography. This is an example of a parking lot that looks good, until we zoom in on it. Now it has ripples on what should be a flat surface. Editing the hundreds of thousands of points that LiDAR creates consumes far too much time and money. While it seems simple and quick, the end result is usually such a hassle that it would have been better to have a few people on site to do the survey, therefore avoiding errors in drainage, earthworks, and utilities design. Problem number 6. Most of our industry's professionals are university educated. Many are not taught courses outside of their particular field. For instance, engineers learn engineering, architects learn architecture. While it seems logical to separate the fields, it's actually a disservice to the students who will become future professionals and leaders. Without learning collaboration between the fields while attending university, our non-collaborative industry is unlikely to cure the problem. The entire industry lacks a common knowledge base. Architecture, civil engineering, land surveying, urban planning, and also real estate students should all be working together on common exercises. Problem number 7. Historically, 80% of development has been suburban. Almost all university courses are focused on specifically urban redevelopment, which isn't where most of the growth is. Therefore, students don't learn how to plan for the locations that are in the most demand, which severely limits their immediate and future employment opportunities. Problem number 8. Many regulations only state the minimums and do not reward developers for going above and beyond that benchmark. Without change, jamming as many units to the minimal dimensional standard is deemed totally acceptable. By rewarding developers and builders who excel, cities can easily achieve a higher caliber of development. Problem number 9. The geometric patterns for planning and design haven't changed since Roman times. Modern, 21st century growth should not depend on ancient methods. Problem number 10. As soon as a developer identifies attractive land, they will immediately need a layout to determine the economics. This puts pressure on those laying out the site to do a design as quickly and cheaply as possible. The problem is, quick and cheap often becomes the built project, and the huge profit potential is never realized. This is made worse with technology that can design hundreds of lots in just minutes. Problem number 11. While software can help professionals expedite their job, it should not be used as a replacement for original ideas and unique designs. A quick look at new apartment buildings makes it seem as though one architect was used everywhere. Revit, and the software like it that almost everybody uses and relies on, creates repetitive templates that speeds up design. Those with good intentions are often railroaded by technology that rewards standardization and simplicity. Problem number 12. The need to preserve the environment is critical. However, some restrictions are borderline absurd in their execution. A 50-foot buffer applied to a dry wetland that is half an acre in size balloons to 1 1/2 acres. For example, the city of Minneapolis. Had our modern wetland laws been enacted 150 years ago, the existing urbanized population would likely sprawl 3 to 4 times more than it is today. Instead of 425,000 people within 58 square miles, it would be closer to 200 square miles. The time is now for regulators to start looking at the quality of life for human families over that of duck families in some swamp. All of these problems, and many more, were addressed when we developed the LandMentor system. It blends superior technology with education in an easy-to-use yet powerful solution.